Welcome to Monday Mornings with Michelle, the new business podcast. Whether you're kicking off your day or kickstarting your business, Michelle is going to kick your ass into next week with the essential fours: strategy, systems, support, and state of mind. Now, welcome to center stage, Michelle Nedelec.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec. I am super glad that you're here with us today because I have brought an amazing guest, Mickey. And thank you, Mickey, for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
Awesome. So give us the 5,000-foot view of who you are and what you do.
Who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Mickey Pendergast, as you mentioned. I have the office for a company called Schooly Mitchell. I own the Calgary office. We are expense reduction consultants, so we do strictly business-to-business work with business owners, controllers, CFOs, VP finance, those kind of individuals that are responsible for P&L performance. And we're a little bit unique in the sense that we attack the expense side of a business's operations. As we don't have anything to do with sales and marketing, and the other side of it is just we like to say that we turn revenue into profit. So that's really our purpose. We can get into the nuts and bolts of that later, but that's really our function, our purpose.
Very cool. So how did you get into that?
Well, that's a longer story. I'll give you the shorter version, but I was self-employed myself for over 20 years in the food business, so I learned a lot of hard lessons there about the difference between revenue and profit and those types of things. I had to really learn how to manage margins and expenses to make money. That's a tough business to make money in. And then I went and worked in the corporate world for a number of years with a distribution company, food distribution company, food and equipment, and had a role there of VP operations, where a lot of the same kind of responsibilities in terms of watching expenses and managing margins and keeping the operations run tight, that sort of thing. And eventually I got, they did sort of a big flip in the company, and the new president came in, and a bunch of us got packaged off, which was fine. It was a good package and all the rest of it. So now I was looking for something different to do. I like being self-employed. So this is I'm self-employed here, but underneath the umbrella of this larger company. So it just seemed like a really good fit. It's business to business. It's a language I understand. It's helping businesses become more profitable. And I believe firmly that entrepreneurs and small business is the backbone of our economy. And so it's a great place for me to apply the skills and lessons I've learned over the years, and use the techniques and tools that this company has to help businesses keep more of their own money.
Nice. So what is it that you like about going through somebody's P&L and all that kind of fun stuff?
Well, I don't do a lot of that technical work myself, which is one of the parts I like about it. I'm not necessarily that guy. I can do the preliminary analysis and I can understand where the opportunities lie, but we have in our head office in Stratford, Ontario, we have about 32 full-time analysts that use our proprietary software and our national database, actually North America-wide database, to develop solutions for our clients, using that leverage, that inside knowledge that we've gained for doing this for over 20,000 clients over the years. So that's really where the power of what we do. We can bring that level of leverage and that kind of clout to an individual business owner, because we're vendor neutral. We're not a provider. We're not a broker. We just do that analysis and find ways to optimize that spend. And what I like about that was what I mentioned earlier, is the fact that it's an area that business owners don't always have the time or the resources to really do a good analysis of. And if we can help them squeeze more out of the page, then it's found money for them and we do the work.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's, anyways, that's what I like about it, is it's contributing to the success of the risk takers.
Nice. So explain to me, like, how does it work when you work with somebody? You go in, how do you start the conversation and what happens?
Yeah, well, if someone wants us to do the analysis, I guess I should back up a little bit and tell you the categories that we work in, but it's telecom, it's credit card fees, like the merchant fees that a merchant pays, it's shipping, small package shipping, it's I'm gonna mute this thing, it's
okay.
And it's waste handling. So we have those are our core categories. And so what we do is we get 3 months worth of bills, or also online access to see where the money is, because it's important for us to establish that initial baseline. So that helps us understand where the opportunities are, and to make sure that there's enough of a spend there for them to be able to have an impact. So we get copies of 3 months worth of bills. I upload them into our system so our analysts can access them and do their review. It takes us about 4 to 6 weeks to do the review. We look at we contact the incumbent provider first, because that's the easiest solution for everyone. So they will then reach out to the analyst will reach out to the incumbent and let them know what we're doing. We're trying to find some better programs, better ways to optimize the plans, that sort of thing. And they know who we are. We don't take any kind of kickbacks or commissions from any of them, but they do know who we are. So they'll typically work with us to try and maintain that client. At the same time, we're reaching out to competitors and to get 1 or 2 or 3 potentially competitive quotes. Then we come back to our clients and say, here's where you are now. That's what the initial baseline was all about. And here's where you could be based on the work that we've done. And then the client chooses whether or not to proceed with any of our recommendations. Like I say, 80% of the time we recommend they stay with their incumbent provider and take advantage of our leverage to get better pricing or a better optimized plan. But sometimes they do choose to move to a competitor to change providers. If that's the case, we help manage that implementation and we work with them. And the other part our clients really like is that we work together for typically 36 months. So it's ongoing monitoring of those accounts and all those bills and that spend to make sure that we're keeping these guys honest. They're living up to the terms of the deal that we arranged, and our clients don't have to then check their monthly phone bills or their credit card statement to make sure they're not getting any rate creep or any new fees being added in. Our software catches all that. If there is an increase that wasn't authorized, then our analyst reaches out, corrects the mistake, gets the credit put back in the client's account, and that's really how the relationship works going forward.
Nice. Are people ever worried or concerned that because they've gone and done an analysis that they're going to get, extra fees later, or somehow, some way, the company's going to get back at them and go, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not covered anymore. We don't want to work with you," or some wild and crazy thing? What are people's concerns?
Yeah, typically we take care of that. So I haven't heard people ask me that question. They are always concerned, of course, that they're going to get the rates that we help arrange for them, help negotiate. But we stay on top of it. Like I said, we've got 30 plus full-time analysts that do this for a living. So the vendors want to work with us. They don't always like the fact they're going to lose some margin, but they do like to work with us and keep their client happy. So yeah.
Nice. So give us a Cinderella story of somebody that you've worked with before.
The Cinderella story. Well, there's several, I guess, good success stories I could touch base with in a couple different categories. Worked with a small oil and gas company that had a sort of a real mishmash of cell phone plans, from bringing on different employees and acquiring other companies and that sort of thing. So they were too busy to have a look at it and really find the best way to put it all together. So we took the project on and we reviewed all the bills. We reached out to different providers and received some quotes on how to combine all these little small plans and individual plans and personal phones and everything else into one cohesive business plan. Reduced their spend by about 50%. And a couple of them had to change providers, but it was worth it. They could keep their phones and port the numbers into the new provider. And so they're spending half what they used to on their cell phone bill as a small company. So that was a real happy story for them. And one of the other ones I like to share is I met a lady who was the treasurer for her kids' soccer club. So there was 12 or 1,400 kids playing soccer, and you do online registration now for your kids. You never have like paper forms and send a check with little Johnny. It's all done online. So when you pay with your credit card, of course, there's the credit card processor in the background that takes their fees from processing that money. And So I didn't know what the results were going to be, but we're able to save them over $20,000 a year in fees. That and same with the same company.
$20,000 for a soccer club?
Well,
That seems
this is 1,400 kids times 2 seasons times $500, right? It's
wow.
there was a lot of volume going through there.
Yep.
And they'd reach out to this same provider many times saying, can you do better? Can we find better rates? Can we do this? And they'd always just, sometimes they would say, sure, we can give you a little bit of a reduction. And then a year later, it's back where it used to be. Or quite often they would just say, you know, this is the best we can do for your type of business, your type of cards, your type of volumes. But we got involved. They know who we are, and they know that we know what real pricing looks like. And it was a massive reduction percentage-wise. And so that's money now that gets to stay in the hands of the families and the soccer people. So it's just a real nice story to be able to share.
Nice. I always like to think of you as coming in like the big brother and going, hey, it's okay. We've done this before. We know what we're doing. And yeah, they're not going to, you know, treat us the same way that they treat you. And you do that for a couple of years and all of a sudden you got a whole new level of respect there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's like knowledge is power sort of a thing. We've got this, like I said, database of over 20,000 clients. So these providers, whether it's waste handlers or telecom companies or whoever, they can't blow smoke because they know we can say, well, I've got 100 other clients that did get this pricing. And by the way, you know that because I negotiated with you last month or whatever. So you can do it for this client. Now you have to do it for this client. So they know that we know, and that's a powerful place to be in the negotiation. So.
Nice. I love that. So what might somebody be at home thinking, going, oh my God, I totally need Mickey. Got to call him.
Well, it's really about what's valuable to a business owner or to a financial person. Obviously, everybody wants to try and trim expenses and run lean and be smart about their business. But quite often time is the most precious commodity. They know probably that there's some areas they could work on, you know, with the garbage guy or the phone guy or the credit card company, but it's time consuming. It's very kind of tedious type of work, really, to be honest, to be grinding through a bunch of phone bills or sitting on hold with the credit card guys or whatever. And most of if you're a VP finance or a controller, you probably have some major expense categories that take up most of your time, whether it's occupancy costs or payroll or whatever. And this is sort of down in the bottom of the P&L somewhere on the expense side, and they don't always get to it. So even if they did, they don't have the kind of leverage and inside knowledge that we have. So what we find is that if someone hears this message and they say, yeah, I just don't have time for this stuff, but I wonder if there's some savings there. I wonder if there's some expenses that might be eroding that bottom line that I don't even know about. And because of our business model, where all we get is 50% of what we save. We don't charge for doing the analysis of the review. We don't charge for putting that report together. All we get is 50% of the savings for a period of time. It's a temporary thing where we get what we earn in terms of it's a success-based fee. So it's kind of a no-risk way for the business owner, for the financial responsible person. It's a no-risk way for them to find out if they're fully optimized or not. If we come back with a report that says, yeah, about 10% of the time it happens, we come back with a report that says, yeah, there's no real savings that we can find. You're in great shape here and there, and you're good to go. Or if we come back to the recommendations that the client just doesn't like for whatever reason or doesn't want to move forward with, it still didn't cost them anything. So it's a no-risk way to find out if you're wasting any money. And we find that usually some people, there's something they could do better.
Right. Well, and that's fantastic because I mean, God knows how much you'd have to spend on an employee to go through all those records and to find that and to sit on the phone and harass them. And
yeah, and then you might get a number back from a provider, but you still wouldn't know for sure if it's the best number because
right.
it's not your core competency typically as someone in that business. You do have other things to do all day, and you get a number back, maybe if it's lower than your previous number, is it the best? You don't know.
Cool. So how long does it usually take you to go in and wrangle things?
To prepare the report from start to finish takes us about 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, depending on the size of the client, for us to get all the responses and quotes back from the various providers, for us to do our analysis internally. We say 4 to 6 weeks. That's an average time.
Nice. Very cool. So let me ask you this. At what point in life did you know that you were special kind of crazy enough to become an entrepreneur?
Well, that's a good one. I guess for some reason it always just felt like the right thing for me to do. I had jobs and did various things, but the opportunity to go into the food business with my brother, and speaking of crazy, the food business is a crazy way to try and make money.
No kidding. You may as well have started with a restaurant or a bar.
So that was extra special crazy, but I did well in it for over 20 years, but it always felt right for me to be self-employed. It's just, I know for some people it's the worst possible course of action. For me, it always just felt right. Maybe I'm just unemployable. I don't know, but I felt like it was. I always felt like it was. I wanted to be in charge of my own destiny. I guess I wanted to make sure that any impacts I had, successful or otherwise, I had no one to blame but myself, or that I knew I could take the credit if something went well. So I don't know. It just feels right to me. So.
Thanks. That's awesome. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you to look at it, and let's go through this again, it's their phone systems, their garbage systems, their credit card, merchant accounts, and I'm missing something.
Did you say garbage? Did you say shipping?
Shipping. That was the other one.
Small package shipping. So people that spend some money on couriers. And we've recently added e-signature. So if people are spending a bunch of money on, say, a DocuSign or something like that, it's sort of a niche category, but there are some people out there that we've done really well for. But anyways, those are the 4 big ones that you mentioned.
Nice. Okay, and if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, I can tell you my, I guess, email address or my phone number. What do you want? Both?
Sure.
Okay. Cell phone is 403-875-4777. The email is a long one. Mickey.Pendergast. Yeah, I've heard that one before.
No way, really?
Yeah,
it's not original. Oh,
or the only keepers to find. I get that one too. Pendergast, PENDERGAST at SchoolyMitchell.com, which is SCHOOLYMITCHELL.com. Told you it was a long one.
That is a long one. So peeps, if you're in your car and you're listening to this, go ahead and go to awarenessstrategies.com and we will have Mickey's information there. You can also find this on iTunes and Google, and we will have Mickey's contact information in the description. So awesome. Thank you. And anything else you want to share with our peeps on our way out?
Oh, I don't know. I guess that's probably it. That describes our model, describes what we do. And it's just, like I said, that's how we open. It's just, for me, I really enjoy working with the entrepreneurs and independent business organizations that might not have access to these kind of resources, and helping them keep more of their own money. That's my motivation. So yeah, I'm happy to work with anyone, any industry. Look forward to it.
Love it. So small and large business owners out there, keep your own money. That's the lesson of the day. And if somebody's overcharging you and they're not charging the neighbor the same amount, there's a discrepancy there. Let's go right that wrong and make sure that there's equal pricing for everybody, not just for the learned and the know-it. Go and get a hold of Mickey. It costs you absolutely nothing to get him to take a look at your book. So it totally makes sense, especially if you're at that point where you're starting to what I call Frankenware things together. You got a little bit of this and a little bit of that going on, and you're at the point where it's just too much for you to look at, but you know it needs to be done. So go ahead and do that. We'll have Mickey's information both on the video and in the description. So this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being with us here today. If you know anyone who would make a great guest for the show, or if you have a question or topic you'd like me to discuss, please reach out to me at michelle@awarenessstrategies.com or connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to our show. I am all about being a resource center for entrepreneurs to give them the information and the support they need to make it in business. As such, I have Taking Your Business Digital Q&A every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Mountain. To register for that, go to awarenessstrategies.com/digital. That's DIGITAL. I look forward to meeting you and actually finding out how you are. So see you on the flip side.